everyone. Coach Sullivan here again with MGS Coaching Football. To my subscribers, say thank you, and to those who haven't yet, I hope you do. Just completed my 38th year coaching. I was a defensive coordinator, but over those years, I've been an offensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, been a longtime head coach, and all of this at both the collegiate and high school levels. So, what I want to talk to you today about is one of our what we call pistol games, all right, which I'll tell you about. It's a two-man game, all right, that we call Mule, okay? And it's one that you can run out of multiple fronts. So I'm going to give you 4 different fronts that we have, okay, on purpose, and why I'm going to give those to you. So the key terms here today are, first and foremost, what's a pistol game? Well, as it says, a two-man pass line stunt. It's a first level pressure, which means it can only be people who are opposite the offensive lineman on the line. First level, right? Second level would be linebackers. Third level secondary. If second and third level is involved, it's a blitz. Okay, so that's key. Mule itself is a two-man game that is called opposite the rover. That's what we call it. You to simplify it, you whatever you terminology you use for your defenders, do the same, and then it's very easy for your players to know how to set up which side you're going to execute this on. Okay. Outside cage is one of our pass rush lane assignments that we use with an aiming point of 2 yards, what we call outside the quarterback. So it's based upon quarterback set. Everything pass rush lane is based on quarterback set for us. Set here is different than here, right off the screen, which is different than here. So you got to teach players how to identify the quarterback set, okay, because that's who they're trying to sack. And then inside cage, PRL, pass rush lane. Okay, just trying to save myself a little. Right? Pass rush lane aiming point is the near armpit. Okay, so if I'm rushing on this side, it's this armpit. If I'm rushing on this side, it's this armpit. Okay? I mean, that's that simple. But again, predicated on where the quarterback is. It's set. What we call stick and read. This is the second, as you'll see momentarily, the second person. We always have a designated first and second, okay, coming on the same side. Well, this person's the second. They're going to stick, and then we're going to teach them who they read, and that's going to bring in the designated blocker, which I'm going to teach you here why I give you 4 different fronts, okay? What we call a pick. Without making it obvious, the nose picks an offensive lineman for a 2 count, and then he releases, as you'll see. This is something that we call typically when the tendencies of our opponents say they're going to throw the ball. Okay, now, of course, they could run it. We still execute it, and then if it's a run scheme, we have to adjust to that. But nonetheless, okay, this is when we would call it. So that you got to please try to remember that. And then the butt side rule, the read defender, okay, who's always the guy second guy, okay, is going to read that designated blocker and go butt side. Okay, so if the block is like this, we want that person to go on this side of him because he's not going to block him with his butt, right? I mean, it's not very likely. So that's why we teach it that way, okay? So what I have up top is 11 personnel with our base 3-4 front we call 50, the one we're in most of the time. Another front we have we call tight, that we only utilize versus a tight end, hence tight, okay? On the bottom are 2 different fronts that we utilize versus 10 personnel. And these aren't the only 4 fronts. I mean, everything stems from the 50. But one we call split, and this will be the only diagram with a running back because the front is established based upon that. And then what we call Amazon, okay? So let me first talk about how we determine who the designated blocker is. It's the uncovered blocker. So here's the rule. Guard, call side unless. Designated blocker. Guard, call side unless. So the designated blocker rule. Okay. Guard, call side unless. Okay? So this is a Ringo. We use Lucky Ringo, L and R, right? Ringo means that we're executing it on the right. Guard's uncovered, see? Guard unless. It's Ringo again. Guard unless. Guard's uncovered. Lucky. Guard unless. Guard's uncovered. Here we go. Lucky. Guard's covered. Guard and tackle are covered. Center's uncovered. So it's the guard unless the center's uncovered. Okay? So that would have to be the guard's covered. You'll never have both the center and the call side guard uncovered. Not that I've ever seen. We don't have a front that way. I mean, I've seen it. I shouldn't say that. I've seen it on TV with the pros, but we're not the pros. Okay? I mean, we're not the pros. So for us, either the center or the guard's going to be covered. More often than not, we're not front, it's the guard, right? So designated blocker, guard call side unless, and there's your scenario where the guard's not the uncovered call side, it's the center. Okay, that's it. You got to keep that simple. Keep it simple here so your kids can play fast with their feet, right? So the only person, meaning pass blocker, that I'm going to utilize is the designated pass blocker. Obviously, there's a zillion different protections. We don't have enough time to go through all that here in this presentation. So I'm just going to share with you how we would react to the designated blocker, we being the second read defender. Okay, that's it. So therefore, the defense is going to be in the green, and I'm going to put that designated blocker in brown. All right? So first, here we go. In our 50 front, Ringo, Ringo, Ringo. The nose is first. Call side defensive end is second. Okay? So the pick is the nose, right? He's the one going first. So on the snap of the football, he literally steps and drives into the guard near hip, shoots his hands. We've never been called for anything illegal unless we grab and hold them. That you cannot do. But we say as soon as you contact the guard in your head, 1,000, 1,002, then release. Okay? Because like with everything, timing's involved here. Okay? And so the release, we just tell them, we don't care if you go in front of the guard or behind the guard, but you got to release because you have outside cage. Okay, so I don't want the kids getting all bogged down when I had to do this, but I couldn't get the outside cage, coach, because I got driven. Well, then you should have gone butt side, right? So the term we use is, for the guard, easiest release. And this will be the only diagram that I'm going to bring in a quarterback set to show you how we teach our defensive line, and it's easy to drill. It's part of everyday drills. It only takes 5 minutes to get your outside cage 2 yards from the quarterback set, as well as inside cage near armpit. Okay, so the second in the line stunt is the stick and read. Okay, so on the snap, he's driving into the guard. On the snap, he's executing the stick, which is a two-gap move. Two-gap. So when it's a defensive end, it's two gaps, in this case, two gaps in toward the ball, okay? And he does it behind the nose. So we have him get slightly deeper off the ball. Typically, everybody, the defensive ends put their down hand on the nose's down hand. The nose better not be off sides, right? We have him get 6 inches or so. Again, you try not to overcoach it. So then on the stick technique, and all I'll say is it's a very quick shuffle that we work on with our players every day in the shoots. Just a couple of 3 reps is all it takes so they stay low. Okay? Executes the stick. And then he reacts, goes butt side there. So if the guard engages because he's getting wailed on by the nose, then the butt side is right there. Correct? But even though he's getting wailed on, the guard might be responsible for B gap. So now stick and read is up through the A gap. Okay, it's not too likely because we got the nose jamming the guard very, very hard. When we say try and drive him a little bit, move him. Don't just hit and sit there, right? Occupy space, because if the guard's facing this way, you're going to block up the A gap for your stick and read. So not only are we driving hard, but we're moving. If we can move the guard at all, we're going to try and do that. So therefore, as you're doing your film study, if you got Man Mountain Dean playing guard and he's in an immovable object, this isn't a good pass rush line stunt to run. Okay, it's going to get messy real quick. There isn't going to be the ability of your stick and read to execute it. So you got to think of that as well. Can you move the guard? That's okay. That's a factor here. So that is how this works. It's very quick. It can also be very effective. So now, right, I said I was going to teach you how we do this. Let's say it's a half roll and he sets up into the B gap away from the line stunt. Okay, so now the quarterback is there, right? Boom, pick, that's what the release. As soon as he releases, he's got to find the quarterback. So now he has to adjust, right? I mean, yeah, outside cage, you got contained. So does the sideline. I don't need you 6, 7, 8 yards outside the quarterback saying, I did my job. He's in there. He's going to stand there all day and pick us apart. So that's now you got to find him and get 2 yards outside. Stick and read, same thing. So now you're heading to that near armpit. And if you force him here and our outside cage is only 2 yards, whoop, now there's nowhere for the quarterback to go. Versus if he stayed out here, he could avoid our inside cage defender, reset, and throw the ball again. So that's why you got to do it based upon the set of the quarterback, in my opinion. And actually learned that a long time ago from Coach Jim Reed, who was the defensive coordinator at the time, UMass Amherst, when I was playing. And I was playing nose guard. So I learned a lot about playing inside cage. So now what I want to do is go through each of these other scenarios, okay, as we execute Mule. And what I do is I kick myself in the butt like a mule would. That's it. Boom, boom. Okay? So first, second, and the other thing we do is we say nose or inside defender, D-end, okay, or outside defender. In this stunt, it's always a D-end, but if there are scenarios, we have pistol games and other pass rush line stunts that involve more people where it's not a D-end, so we say D-end or outside defender, nose or inside, okay, and you'll see that play out momentarily, okay? So again, here, boom, pick, try and drive, try and move them, stick and read. So let's just say, as an example, he is straight back, and we're getting a little movement. Straight back to us is the same as blocking the B gap, which means stick and read is going to be in the A gap. Okay? He's taking easiest release to outside cage. Down here now, Lucky, first, second. Boom, right? Pick an easiest release. Let's say now for a second, he was blocking the A gap, so he's actually stepping and meeting the nose, right? Stick, and now he would be up there in the B gap. That's the butt side. That's the butt side. And so in this one, the defensive end is probably going to be into the backfield before the nose, which is fine. Tackle's going to be big on big here, so that's okay. Boom, boom. If the guard's blocking down on the nose, the defensive end is going to be up there before the nose. That's okay. Make sure you tell your players that. He might be first, but in that scenario, the second guy is likely could get up to the second level quarterback first. That's okay. And then the final scenario, which brings in the tweak as far as our designated blocker, call side guard, and less, right? Lucky. Call side guard's covered. Center's uncovered. There's the scenario when the center becomes the designated blocker that we're reading. And I'm going to, on purpose, bring in our inside linebacker here, just so I can show you some things that we do to help, okay? This is what we would call a 41 box. Okay, we got 7 in coverage. We're just assuming we're not blitzing here. And I call Mule. This is one of our pass rush fronts that we'll utilize versus 10 personnel. Okay, 41 box, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 inside linebacker, right? 41 box. Our normal is a 32 box, 3 down with 2 inside. Okay, so now, right? Still first, still second. Here's the big thing. He can't pick the guard because he's a 3 technique on the guard. And this is how they line up, left and right. It's always nose and end, tackle stud, 4th defensive lineman comes in, a pass rush specialist. Okay? So now he picks the OT. So as you teach it, we teach our nose, okay? You pick the next guy to your outside. You pick the next guy to your outside. So you're a shade or you head up on the center, it's going to be the guard. In this front, you're a 3 technique, then the outside guy is going to be the tackle. And that's it. I mean, it's not like you're reinventing the wheel and overcomplicating things, because you're not. I would hope the kid would understand there's no way he could pick the guard, right? But that also brings in, there's your designated blocker anyway, so we're good. Okay, so now pick, release, stick, and now he's reacting here. And it's going to be even quicker. So let me talk to you first about what we would do and have done, okay? This guy is typically responsible for him first and then help on the first level. So what we've done is we've, faked the blitz. We've shown that we're going to blitz here. So now on the snap of the ball, the center has his eyes away in this A gap. And then he drops back, depending on what the coverage call is, okay? So then now here, obviously, he'd be up in that A gap. So if we don't fake a blitz, what we usually see is the center snaps it and he's even. His shoulders are square, looking at the linebacker first and then heading a swivel to help out in either A gap. When that's the case, we tell our call side defensive end, stick up into your side A gap. Okay, so it's your side A gap, 2 out of 3. The only scenario he wouldn't do that is if the center were blocking that way for whatever reason, maybe the running back is responsible for that A gap that week. Okay? Now, he goes opposite A. Copper feel, stay nice and tight so you don't get too wide. Okay, and that's how it works. That's how we roll. Okay? So as I said at the beginning, to my subscribers, I thank you. And to those who haven't yet, I hope you do. But I'm saying to everyone now is any questions about this, I hope you reach out to me at coachmjsullivan@gmail.com. If you have any questions at all about the Mule stunt, okay, a little pick, easy release, stick and read, by the call side defensive end. It's really kind of a boom, boom, bang, bang, which makes it a little bit harder on the offensive lineman because whether they're in a 2-point or a 3-point, they got to get their set. They got to get their eyes. And a bang, bang stunt like this is sometimes a little bit harder for them to pick up. Especially if whether I should say, sorry, it's a man or a zone scheme protection, it's still going to be hard because it's other pass rush line stunts take a little bit more time to develop. Okay. So again, I hope you reach out to me because I'd love to talk football with you.